My husband and I have been married for about a year. When we first started dating, he was all over me all the time. I knew that the initial excitement will wear off, but it seems to have happened pretty quickly. It seems like his attraction to me comes and goes. He takes very long showers almost every day, and I've clearly heard him masturbating a couple of times, so I assume that's what he's doing in there, especially since sometimes he takes very short showers, so it's kind of obvious. I'm fine with masturbating in general, but we almost never have sex anymore. It happens maybe once a month, and that's being generous. He masturbates whether I'm home or not. I'll try to start things, but he often comes up with an excuse like he doesn't feel well or he has a leg cramp, etc. I've tried to express to him how I feel about the situation, that I feel rejected and unwanted. He says he doesn't not want to have sex with me, and that's about all he'll say. He's very closed off when it comes to talking about sexual things. I've gotten to the point where I don't even try to start anything because I will end up feeling rejected and embarrassed. And I don't bring it up as much anymore because I don't want to make him feel pressured or make it worse. I think a big issue that we're having is that I'm not sure how to get him to communicate with me. I've tried to ask him how he feels about sex, any fantasies he has, what kind of porn he likes, anything to get an idea of what he's thinking. He hates talking about it and won't answer those kind of questions. How do I get him to open up?
Right. I'd say the first thing I'd look at is he actually masturbating or is he attempting to masturbate or something like that? If he is, I mean, it sounds like he's masturbating because he's spending a fair amount of time in the shower. But it might be a good idea to verify whether he's doing it or not. Because it might be that he's having trouble trying to get it up. And so he's going off in the shower and doing whatever.
It indicates it's breakdown of relationship, because she says he takes very long showers almost every day. He's only 28.
Yeah, so let's assume that he's masturbating. If he's masturbating and he's unwilling to touch you, there's some serious problems there. On top of that, if he's not willing to have a conversation about it with you, then there's nowhere for you to go. There's nothing for you to do at this point. You can lead a duck to water, but you can't make them swim or drink or whatever the phrase is.
Because it's like, it's not a marriage anymore. It's just two housemates.
Well, at the end of the day, if he's not meeting your needs, whether it's the marriage that's basically changed his view on things, I mean, we don't know. But realistically, if he's unwilling to have a conversation about this and get to the point, there's nothing that you can do apart from cut your losses and leave. There aren't any children involved, thankfully. And it's a relatively fresh relationship. This is the honeymoon period that you should be enjoying each other's company. For him saying things like, I've got a cramp or, I've got pain or whatever else. I mean, is
he getting it elsewhere?
The thing is, if he's getting it elsewhere, then I don't know how he'd be coming home and then whacking off in the shower. Maybe.
Well, it doesn't mean he has to. Well, she says almost every day. He's masturbating in the shower. Obviously, you're trying to, if you're keeping a bit on the side, you're not going to have sex with them every day. And if he was all over her when they were initially dating...
I mean, put it this way.
If it's what you said, if there's anything medical...
And he's trying to hide that from her, that he can't get it up. And he's using this using his shower time to try and practice or try and, sort of see if everything can work. But
if he's invested in the relationship, he has to talk to her.
But the fact that he's doing it every day as well, that makes me feel like it's highly unlikely that he'd be trying to bolster himself in the shower like that to see if everything works. So that, again, it does sound a lot more to me like he's masturbating. And if he is masturbating and, she can confirm that he's masturbating, then really, if he's unwilling to have a difficult conversation with her, and he just shuts down any kind of communication, then what kind of marriage is that going forward? She's just going to be trapped in unhappiness. And the longer she postpones this difficult conversation, the more time she's wasting and the more difficult it's going to become.
I think there's that. And she's sort of saying how to get him to open up. Well, you can ask the questions, but if he doesn't want to talk about it,
You can't force him.
You can't force him, but I think make it clear to him what the result is going to be.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's fine. If it's out of his comfort zone to talk about it, then he needs to also realize where that is leading him to. It doesn't mean you don't have options. Fine, he doesn't want to, but then obviously it doesn't mean because he's not comfortable, you have to swallow the bitter pill of, okay, I'm going to live in a sexless marriage. That's not going to work for you either. That's fine. That's what he wants, and that's how much he's willing to give. But if it's not enough for you, if he gave you an indication from when you were dating that, okay, my libido is low, then fine, you know what to expect. But if
he's flipped the script,
he's not he's not willing to talk about it, and he's just moving along thinking, okay, well, this is how it's going to be, and you just have to accept it, then that's not fair on you. So I think, yeah, ask him. But if he just says, oh, he doesn't want to, then just make it clear to him, well, you're making it very hard to stay in this relationship in any positive way.
It's kind of an ultimatum, but the truth of the matter is that if he can't...
Not so much it's like, unless you give in to it, you kind of...
No, well,
he needs to tell her, if there's something wrong, you know...
What basically she's doing... Well, it is an ultimatum in the sense that she has to put forward the gravity of this situation, right? And what it implies, essentially, like...
She needs to make it
so
clear
that he can then make that decision of,
he can say,
I'm out of my comfort zone, or that this relationship is far more important to me than the comfort zone that I'm not willing to breach. So what it boils down to is then the ball is in his court to make that choice or make that decision. You can't, because
at the moment he's forcing her in a sexless marriage, and he's saying, well, for me it's not important. If we're assuming with what we're reading, it's like it's just him and his hand, and he's happy with that relationship, but that's fine, you do you, but it doesn't mean he has to force the other person. To you, it's a clearly an important aspect. So then if you're not going to get that, if you stay in this, then you're just going to get more and more resentful. So it's kind of doomed either way. You have to have the conversation, make it clear what is important for you and that you require, and see what he says. If he's not willing to work on it and there's no medical issue that you have to overcome, then more difficult conversations will probably follow.
Yeah, I think the thing is just be prepared, because at this point, if you've done all the things like asking him about his fantasies and whatnot, the fact that he was so forthcoming with you before you guys got married, it's red flags all around. If there's this sudden flip of the script after the marriage, and it does. The only way you can solve this problem, or really if he can solve this problem, is if he communicates with you and he's willing to communicate with you. And if he's not, then quite honestly, the relationship is done. And there's nothing you can do other than make a break for it and move on.
Cut your losses.
Yeah, so both of you can move on. If he does have a bit on the side, then he can go there. And as for you, at least you're not going to be wasting your time or wasting another 5 or 10 years in an unhappy, stale relationship where you can move on and build a better future for yourself with someone else.
Yeah, because already you're even internalizing it that, oh, maybe he's not attracted to me, that you end up coming at her.
Which is crazy, because he wouldn't have married you in the first place unless he married you under false pretenses, which, again, it doesn't say much about him.
Yeah, because if he's stopped being attracted to you, then fine, have the balls to have the conversation with that person and don't string him along. So either way, he doesn't sound like it's a person that you should be around, and allow him to treat you like this.
If you liked our content today, please like and subscribe and share your thoughts in the comments.